Hey guys, so today we're going to be going over the Overwatch 2 settings. This is technically a new game, right? Overwatch 1 actually came out in 2016. That's when I first played it. I love this game. I'm having a really good time. If you guys are as well, this is going to help you out significantly, especially if you're a little bit newer to Overwatch 2. So how you get to the settings in this game is a little bit different than the first one. You're going to want to come to the bottom right corner or click escape, and then we're going to go to options. And it lags for me, but here once you open it, there's a lot of settings. We're going to go over video first. So first, you're going to see your graphics card here up at the top. You're going to see display mode. You're going to want this to be in full screen mode or maybe borderless window depending on your setup. Target display is going to be whatever your main monitor is, of course. Resolution, if you have a 144 hertz or higher monitor, you're going to want to make sure that you're at your desired resolution, whatever refresh rate you want. So for me, I have a 165 hertz monitor, so obviously I'm going to want that with my desired resolution, which is 1920 by 1080. 16:9 is pretty common. Field of view, I have mine actually maxed out. This is from Overwatch 1, so that's what I always played at. If you guys, I would highly recommend at least a higher FOV. So like for example, if you play down here, I would recommend at least raising it to like 90. I play on 103 because if you think about it, you can see more, right? So you can see more in your peripheral vision. But this might also lag your game a little bit, so just keep that in mind. This should be 16:9. Dynamic rendering, I have this on. I'm not sure what everything here means, by the way, guys. So don't harp on me for that. Frame rate, I like to have desired frame rate at what I want my very minimum FPS to be. So in the absolute best case scenario, you're gonna want your desired frame rate to be the lowest that you want. So for me, I know I have a good enough PC to run about 200 frames. We'll get to graphics quality in a second, but desired minimum is going to be 200 and 300, right? So this is pretty good. I've, again, 165 hertz monitor, so I want to get above 165 frames, and yeah. So VSync off, triple frame, all this stuff off. NVIDIA Reflex, you're going to want enabled plus boost. This is going to give you a nice little FPS boost. This is just like in Valorant, the GeForce whatever boost. I changed this just a little bit. Gamma correction was defaulted to over 2, but I changed it to 1.9 because the game's a little bit bright and colorful, as you guys might have been able to tell by now. Contrast is 1. HDR, this is not supported, so not going to worry about that. So for graphics quality, I would recommend putting it to the highest possible preset that is not going to lag you. So again, just like any competitive FPS or any competitive game, we're going to want to prioritize frames. So for me, I like to play on medium. I could definitely play on low. My system actually defaulted to like high or ultra, but don't play for visuals, okay? If you're playing this game competitively and you want to get better at it, there's no reason to play on high settings. You want to prioritize your frames, okay? So for me, I like to play on medium because it's not like super horrible quality, but I also get good frames. So you can see my presets medium. Everything here, I'm not going to go through absolutely everything. You can see I could change this to medium if I really wanted. And this is just going to, if you change, the more you lower these, the more you're going to get frames, right? So you can kind of copy this if you guys would like. But I'm going to go ahead and move on, pause if you need, right? So details, this is where you can basically change stuff to enable, you see up here in the top left, I can see FPS. I also have on, what else? I have show latency, network latency, so I can see my ping. This is how you turn this on. So if you want to see your ping, go to video, details, show network latency. And anything else you guys might want to see if you guys are like tech nerds, if you guys built your PC, you might turn on some of this stuff. GPU temperature, that's not super nerdy, but turn on this stuff, right? Okay, so now we're in the control sections of the settings, and this is gonna of course be a very important section because you have all your keybinds, your sensitivity, and a lot of other stuff they're going to be talking about here. So straight away, a lot of people have been asking about my sensitivity. Basically what I did is converted my sensitivity in Valorant to my sensitivity in Overwatch, but I also raised it by just a little bit. So I believe that my sense of in Valorant 0.4800 DPI transferred to 4.2, but I raised it to 4.32. And my logic behind this is because in Overwatch, if you think about it, no matter what role you're playing, you're looking around a lot. So you really, even more so than in Valorant most of the time. So I raised my sensitivity just a little bit, but not really that much. Invert look off. This stuff is if you're using controller. Don't use a controller if you're playing this game unless you're on console. Reticle. This is how you change your crosshair. I actually just changed mine. You could change the color to anything, which is nice. This is something Valorant should have had much sooner. Show accuracy, have this off. All this stuff is basically changed just how you want your crosshair to be. I don't have a dot on. And scale with resolution on. All this stuff, 100%, this doesn't matter if you don't have a dot on. And yeah, so you can customize your crosshair, which is of course cool. For hero, these are just the health bars. Make sure that you turn these just to default. Don't change them. Keybinds, everything here is the same. This is probably what all you guys are going to have as well, unless you use something else for crouch. Weapons and abilities. I did change one of my abilities, so left shift and E I think are default. But for this is X, and this is what I use for Valorant, so I changed it from Q to X because I've played Valorant for so long now. It's really quite ingrained into my mind. Interact is just F, that's pretty common. Left click, right click, pretty common. Weapon 1, 2, I didn't even use these yet. Quick melee has always been my mouse button 4, which is on the side of my mouse. Reload, these are all the same. So this is my keybinds. Let's go ahead and move on to interface because this section is also pretty important. This stuff is not the most important because this stuff is for menus. The most important thing here I would say is, well, of course, tab, hero, select, this is important. Hero information, if you hit F1, you can read about your heroes if you're kind of new to this game. And then social menu channel, this is definitely important because for some reason, whenever I go into a game, I have to hit P and then join the voice channel. So make sure you guys look at that and join the voice channel because you're going to want to talk to your teammates. Capture highlight, this is cool. The game has a built-in capture highlight system, so you can basically capture like the past 30 seconds or whatever. So bind that if you guys would like. This stuff is going to be if you're like in a custom game. Screenshot down here, this could be a nice display, FPS display. You can also change that in the other section we talked about. Communication, this one's obviously going to be a little important as well. You can hide chat, all chat, open chat. These are just kind of self-explanatory. Important thing here for sure is going to be voice chat. So push to talk changes to whatever you want, and of course use your mic, guys. So mine's V, mine's been V ever since I played Counter-Strike like over 6 or 7 years ago. Also, a really cool thing I just realized you could do here is a communication wheel, and basically I've used this ever since Overwatch 1 as well. You just hold C and then it's like a wheel and you can change whatever you want, but you can actually customize it now. So for one of them, like this top one before was emote, and I kept hitting emote on accident. So I started just changing these. You can change these to whatever you want. Like for example, I know that this one's hello. I know that this one's group up. So I know I want to keep these the same because like if I need to ping that I need healing, obviously that's going to be kind of important. But you guys have a lot of options to kind of change this stuff too, right? Like they added a few nice things. So I would recommend looking around with that and just kind of see what you guys want. And then here's everything else as well. If you want to bind one of these things up here to a specific key, you can do that as well. I know people do that and they just spam it. Don't do that, but yeah. Ping, this is really important, okay? So this is default at the middle mouse button. If you do not use this, make sure you start to use this. It's just like in Valorant. I think in Valorant it's Z though by default. So this is really useful if you're like, yo, he's over there, and they don't know what you're talking about, but you can ping them, right? And it's really nice. Ping option, ping sensitivity. Oh, I didn't actually know about this. So this is where you can change stuff related to the ping, which I'm not gonna go super deep into. I would highly recommend just using the ping as a really good start. And again, emote wheel, voice line wheel, and spray wheel. So spectate, we're not gonna get too deep into. This is really not gonna affect you that much unless you're really getting deeper into this game, because this is basically when you start to do like custom games, which will be important. But again, I'm not gonna go too deep into this. Most of this is pretty self-explanatory anyway. Like move slow, move fast. You'll figure that out. Replay. This is just if you're watching your highlights back. So bind these how you like. Again, I'm not going to go too in depth on this because this is not, in my opinion, the most important parts of this. So hopefully this section was useful. Let me know if you have any questions about sensitivity. I might make a sensitivity guide if you guys would like that for Overwatch. And yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next section. Okay, guys, so moving on to this section. This is the accessibility section. This section actually has some pretty important stuff if you are looking to have a better experience playing Overwatch 2. So first section, our general motion, camera shake. You're going to want to change this from default to reduced. And HUD shake, you're going to want to change this from on to off. So these are the default values, and what these do is it makes it so whenever you get shot, whenever there's like stuff going on in the game, it makes your screen shake and it's really annoying to play. So it just makes you, especially if you're playing DPS, it gives you easier time fighting people, and it just makes the game overall easier to play. So other than that, everything else here is default, I believe. Color blindness, this is something someone was asking about on my stream earlier. What I have changed here, everything is the same except for friendly UI color. So the cool thing you can do in Overwatch that you can't do in a lot of games is you can change these colors to anything you want. So the default for friendly is like green, right? Or no, it's actually blue. So, but I like pink. I just like that color. So if you like one of these other colors that they have here, then you can just change that either for the enemy or for your team. I've had pink for the longest time. You know, so you guys can choose whatever you like. I would highly suggest playing around with these if you want. Text to speech, this is, I'm not honestly sure, but these are my values off. These are different ways that you can have the text to speech talk. And here's the advanced, here's my advanced settings. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on to social. So the social setting, identity is public. This is where you're gonna want to go if you don't want people to see your career profile. I know a lot of people don't want enemies or don't want people to see their profile just for whatever reason. Friends, these are all on for me. So if you guys have any questions about these, let me know. Groups, these are top 2 are on. Third one's invite only. These are just kind of like preference, right? Like if you don't want people to be inviting you, or you know, if you don't want your group to be open to invite only, then change that. Custom games on, friends on, anyone. Text chat, these are all mature. Basically, text chat, this is how you're receiving text chat. And if you want like match chat on, if you want team chat on, and this is if you know, maybe you have a child that's gonna play, you might want to change this to friendly, or you know, I don't know. Basically, change that to whatever you want. So moving on to sound. So sound, obviously, if you want to lower something here, you can do it here. I turned down the music because it's a little bit loud on the menu, so I turned that down to 50. You guys can change any of these values however you would like. If you guys would like to change your system, your headset or your mic, that's where you're gonna do this. That's where you're gonna hear it. Audio mix, spatial audio. I just have this to system settings. Sounds, sound plays while in background. I have this on. Play sound when enemy is eliminated. I have these off. You could mess with these. I'm not actually 100% sure what this actually means, to be honest with you. These might be new settings because I don't remember these from Overwatch 1. But, you know, that's what I have. So, voice chat, these are both defaulted to 80. These are all defaulted to on. And push to talk key, mine's going to be V. That's what I've always played on. Push to talk mute is just M. And yeah, guys, so if you couldn't tell by now, there's a lot of settings in Overwatch 2. In the gameplay tab, there's matchmaking, enable post-match auto queue. So this is on. This is just like basically after the game ends, you're automatically going to queue into another game. I like that because I like to play a lot of games. Network, this is off, on. So again, I don't know exactly what all these mean, but if you want to copy mine, I know I have pretty good settings. These copy over from Overwatch 1 as well. Spectate is on, off. Overwatch League is on. Miscellaneous is off. Again, pause if you want to change any of these. Next, we're going to HUD. User interface, kill feed. I would definitely recommend having kill feed on. Play sound when enemy is eliminated. These actually sound like they could be good. I might actually mess around with these, to be honest. I might turn these on. Always skip kill cam. Honestly, you could turn that on, but I like to have that on. I like to have that off just because kill cam can actually show you how much ult charge the enemy has. So even though it's frustrating to see how you died, because I know that's how I feel 90% of the time. You can see, like, for example, a Genji's like 80% to blade. That's going to be really important if the game's like really, really close. Snap death camera to killer. You can have that off or on. That's up to you. Achievement display. Both. Tips display. I don't want tips because I know how to play this game. If you're new, you might want to have tips on. Show capture play of the game UI. This is on. Display system clock. This is just if you want to clock in your game, you can turn that on. Hero. These are everything down here is at 100%. So if you guys have any questions about these up here are actually kind of important for the HUD. So keep note of that. It is a little bit preference, but again, I am turning these on because I would like to know when my enemy and teammates are eliminated, and I just want to see how that goes. So let me know if you guys have any questions about this in the comments.